Donald Trump today promoting his new book, Crippled America, and using the event to slam his opponents, Ben Carson, Jeb Bush, and Marco Rubio.
You need a very strong person with tremendous energy. Ben Carson does not have that energy. My Jeb impression? No, I don't want to do that. I don't like showing a person sleeping at a podium. Marco doesn't show up to the United States Senate. He's representing the people of Florida, which, by the way, that poll just came out today, and I'm way up in Florida over everybody.
Joining us now, author and columnist Jedediah Avila, Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist for the New York Post, Michael Goodwin, both Fox News contributors. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Trump, he's back. He seems to have found his form again here. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think he's a little bit worried about Ben Carson. I don't think Donald Trump can really figure out why Ben Carson is so popular, because he does talk about the energy issue, and that is a fair point with Jeb Bush. I think Jeb Bush comes across very poorly in debates. He always looks like he has a little bit too much anger bubbling below the surface. He's not terribly energized.
Did you notice something, though, that Trump did there, Jedediah?
Yeah.
He did that without an ounce of anger.
That's true.
And previously, he would have shown anger. He would have shown disdain. He's just stating the facts.
Well, he wants to come off cool, calm, and collected. He wants to come off as the guy that says, you know what, these guys aren't the right ones for the job.
This is a new approach.
And I'm not worried about them, because you see Ben Carson rising in the polls. He knows that it could potentially be a problem, but he's not going to let us know that he knows that. He's a very smart man.
I think Jedediah is right, Michael, but he also then eviscerated Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio.
Right.
Is that insurance?
Well, I think he just enjoys the Jeb Bush punching. He's like the piñata.
Yeah.
Marco Rubio, however, I suspect is more about Rubio's movement in the polls. Rubio had a very good debate. Is getting some more money now, some financial backers have signed on, and is showing up in the polls. So I think that Rubio looks like he's breaking out of that second tier and beginning to threaten Trump and Carson at the top somewhat.
I think that's a terrific point. And there is one person left out of those making a move here, obviously, in those polls, that is left out of Trump's, his attention, if we can be kind about it. And that is Ted Cruz, who's making as strong a move as Rubio here.
Yeah, but Ted Cruz.
What does that say?
Ted Cruz has been very friendly to him. When everyone else was jumping in to criticize Donald Trump, Ted Cruz was the guy who wasn't doing that. And if Donald Trump is smart, I think he knows that a lot of conservatives are worried about him. They look at his record. They see he backed Democrats in the past. Ted Cruz is the conservative warrior. He is the guy that talk radio, that a lot of hardcore conservatives look at and say he is reliable, he is consistent, he takes on the Democrats and the GOP establishment alike. He's not worried about making friends. He's worried about getting things done. Wouldn't be a bad thing to ally yourself with Ted Cruz if you were Donald Trump.
You're nodding your head in agreement?
Well, look, when you talk about Washington the way Trump has, I mean, that's exactly the same way that Cruz talks about it, and Cruz has been there. So they have that in common. Jedediah is right that Cruz has a deeper base among the Tea Party members and the real staunch conservatives in the party. Trump is a newcomer to them, even an outlier, although many like him. Cruz would be a double down on the bet.
Trump raising the issue of the number of candidates for the first time. He's really going now, would like to see the field winnowed a bit so he can apparently exert his natural force there. I think that I may have discovered a reason we're seeing some people persist beyond what you might expect of a candidate with 1% or 3%. If we could put up that full screen of those candidates who have books out right now, there seems to be something of a tie in all of this. Tie, that is, for having books. Carly Fiorina rising to the challenge. Mike Huckabee, God, Guns, Grits, and Gravy. I happen to think that is the best title of all. Dr. Ben Carson, A More Perfect Union. What we the people can do to reclaim our constitutional liberties. All right, I like that one too. Donald Trump, A Crippled America. Marco Rubio, American Dreams, Restoring Economic Opportunity for Everyone. Ted Cruz, A Time for Truth, Reigniting the Promise of America. And Rand Paul, Taking a Stand. Rick Santorum, Bella's Gift, How One Little Girl Transformed Our Family. I mean, that's a lot of books to hog.
I have to say, though, I think the Trump is going to be in trouble with the PC crowd. I mean, crippled America? I mean, we don't say crippled anymore.
He does. And you know what else? You know what else? He is changing that orthodoxy and that and the reinforcement by the political correct crowd.
Everything
and
he
you're
says.
seeing it, by the way, being insinuated by all of the, not all, but nearly all of the candidates. It's quite something to see. That influence.
I actually thought the title was brilliant because of that, because he's the guy that says things that everyone else would sit back and say, you know what, let me be careful with this title. It might offend someone. And he said, no, I'm talking about the United States, and we have a lot of problems right now, national security, economic, and otherwise, and I'm going to call it what it is.
And when somebody takes the word out of, the Old English Dictionary, the OED, or, or Webster's, then we might have a discussion. But I mean, it's time for people to get real. And whomever we decide is going to be president next year, let's get rid of the nonsense, please, and the Greek chorus of nonsense that follows every public word that is uttered.
Yep.
Michael Goodwin, good to see you, partner.
Thank you.
Jedediah Bila,
Great
thank
to be
you
here,
so
as
much.
always.
Be sure to vote on our poll tonight. The question that we settled on. Do you think Hollywood's left-wing politics is part of the reason the box office is at record lows? Cast your vote at LouDobbs.com. If you want to connect with me, please follow me on social media. I encourage you to do so. It would be a hoot. Follow me on Twitter at Lou Dobbs News. Go to our Facebook page, Lou Dobbs Tonight. Links to everything, LouDobbs.com.